Welcome to the Creative Business Community Podcast, where creativity meets business. I'm Erin, and each week we'll share stories, tips, and inspiration to help you grow your creative business. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Creative Business Community Podcast. I'm your host, Erin, and this week I have the wonderful Elle from Maple and Wren who has come to join me.
Yay, I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. So, for those who don't know, Maple and Wren is a floral studio. They're really well known for creating stunning, intentional floral moments. Everything that they do is designed with a purpose, whether it's for a wedding, a corporate event, or a really grand scale installation. The philosophy is really simple but powerful: to create timeless floral moments that speak to the heart and stay in your memory. So that's not all you do now, though. So on top of that, Elle now also runs the Floral Art Academy, where she teaches other people about how to do the amazing work that she does.
Basically, yeah.
So you're a busy lady. So thank you very much for taking the time to come and chat with us.
No, I'm excited to be here. I love talking about creativity. I love moments in our week where I get to be creative, and when I saw your podcast, I was like, oh, this sounds really fun. I'm excited to be involved. So thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad you came. So, you weren't always a florist. I do always really love to hear the genesis and the start for people and how they end up in their creative business. So I feel like a lot of us, we have this creative bent to everything that we do, but it's not always where we start out. And so you used to work in corporate life, right?
Yeah. So I spent 14 years working for state government, which is not floristry.
No, it's just a little bit different.
No, but I worked in communications and marketing and large-scale event management, and that's probably the most fun thing you can do for state government if we're going to, put it down to a fun level.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did a degree in journalism and advertising back in the day. And from there, I ended up, in state government through a little path. And I loved what I did. It's not that I didn't love what I did. And I loved the team of people that I worked with. And I met some amazing humans through that. But there was always something missing. There was always something missing. And I noticed that, I had a few different jobs in state government. And every time, I still always had some kind of side hustle. So, obviously having a communications background, that started as ghostwriting and web writing and content writing. That was, part of what I was doing at one point. And then I started Maple and Wren kind of as an outlet to do events, but in a more creative way. So to take on that styling aspect of it, for instance. Yeah. I was doing this major corporate event every year that was great, but was it was corporate. It was a bit stale.
Yeah.
And I was like, how could we make this more interesting, or how could I make my life more interesting for myself using the skill set that I have?
Yeah.
So I started it as event design, essentially, and it kind of grew from there.
Yeah,
it grew from there. So it was something that I wanted to just step more into the creative side of it. The women in my family are very creative humans, and I never really found my art until I was 30, and I decided to go to a floral course.
Yeah. So was that just a one-off floral course that you went and did?
Yeah, it was a table arrangement workshop with Beck from Fox and Rabbit, who's just divine. And I remember thinking, I'll just go along and I'll be able to learn how to throw some things together. So that if somebody asked to do a table arrangement for something or needed some bud vases or whatever, that I'd be able to solve that problem. I was thinking of it.
And you didn't have to outsource it to somebody else.
Yeah. Big thing, no worries. I could probably get someone else to do that, but small thing I could handle was what I was thinking. And, if we're doing corporate launch parties or something like that, or small events for people, then I'd be able to do that. One-stop shop, easy. That's what I figured. So I went and did this table arrangement workshop, and my mind was just blown. I was like, what do you mean you can combine natives and cottage flowers? What do you mean you have to take all of the foliage off them before you create it? What do you mean? I have to balance where the flowers sit. Sorry, there's principles of design. I was just, my mind was kind of blown. And what I created in that workshop was probably pretty dismal, to be fair, but I was pretty proud of it. And I was like, wow, I think I could do this.
Yeah.
And from that, I just kept practicing, essentially. Like, I would go down to Chatsworth Deli and Mount Lawley every weekend and get a few different bunches of things that I could then play with at home. If someone had a birthday in the office, I would make them flowers. You know, a family member was visiting, I would make them flowers. And I just sort of started from that, started practicing, and then, yeah, a few pivotal moments kind of turned it into a bit more of a business.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about more of those pivotal moments. So what was it that made you go, I don't want to do the event design so much anymore. I'd rather sink my energy into this creative aspect of myself?
Yeah. Well, once I started combining the two things, the floral design with the, like, you know, say wedding coordination, event coordination, I realized I was offering too many things, to be honest. And the idea of, like, just because you can doesn't mean you should, kind of slipped in. And I was trying to do all of those things myself as well, which is dumb, let's be fair.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say that I've done that before, but we only have so many hours in the day.
It's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
And I found myself, like, if I was on a wedding that I was coordinating or on an event that I was coordinating and I hadn't done the flowers, I didn't want to share that imagery because it didn't feel like my work. So it didn't feel like I was across the whole style of it. And then if I was doing the flowers but I wasn't part of the event, I was like, that's cool because this is still my work.
Yeah.
And then I was doing weddings and just running from pillar to post, trying to style, trying to plan, trying to coordinate it, and trying to sort out the flowers. There just was not enough time to get that done.
Exhausting.
It was, it was. And I burnt myself out really quickly doing that. And then I went, I think I'm just going to drop the planning and the coordination side. Like, yes, that served me well. Yes, that, you know, is a part of my life that I loved doing. Yes, if somebody asked me to do it, I could do it, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know, I just realized I wanted to do the creative bit. And I think when I finished in corporate, because I still had that corporate job for probably the first 4 or 5 years of my business, once I finished in corporate, I think I swung so heavily into the creative side of it that I had, like, over the last couple of years, I've kind of pendulum swung back into the middle where I do take ownership more of the business and all of that. But I just, like, went deep on creativity and, like, literally kicked my corporate heels off and was like, this is where you'll find me, in the flower mess. See you there.
I love that. And I feel like that's a thing that a lot of people, when they step away from corporate, they swing super hard into the creative because we're so desperate for it.
Yeah.
And for anyone who listens to the podcast and maybe, you know, your creative side is not a business and you're kind of contemplating, it's something to think about, is that, you know, we do always need that creative aspect in our lives. And so it's an important thing to try and find where the balance is. And the balance can change.
The balance has absolutely changed.
Yeah. So with the florals that you do, you have this really, you seem to be really well positioned in the luxury floral studio space. Was that an intentional thing or did it happen organically?
It probably happened organically as I grew, to be honest. I remember, so I did a few different floral workshops, like just small short courses. And I remember, you know, being in a Matthew Landers class. And for those who don't know of Matthew Landers, he's, you know, the best florist in Perth, or known as the best florist in Perth, arguably one of the best in the country, has won many Chelsea Flower Show Awards and Melbourne International Floristry Awards. So he's a very good florist. And I remember being in one of his courses and thinking, he was talking about the level of wedding that they were doing. And I was like, I don't want that kind of client. Like, I'm happy with my, like, little weddings and just this, like, I'm just happy here. And I think that's because at that time, I didn't feel like I had the skill or the confidence or the nous to even deal with a wedding at that level. And as the business grew, what I was craving grew, and the work that I wanted to show grew. So I think I did start really small. Like, I started with a market stall, right? I started making flower crowns no shade, because flower crowns were very popular.
They were so in for a while.
They were so in. I made a lot of money on flower. I probably didn't actually make lots of money, but I sold a lot of flower crowns. And I had a market stall where, you know, people would come and I would make them up a bunch at the local farmers market. So it started really small. And then all of a sudden we started doing bigger weddings. And the more that I showed, the more of that work I showed, the more of it that I got. I realized very quickly that, in terms of how you market yourself, what you show is what you receive back. So if you're constantly showing the same thing, like as a wedding florist, if you're constantly showing white weddings, people come to expect that you only do white weddings.
Yeah.
If you only show really intimate occasions and basic tablescapes, then people will come to expect that of you. If you show really big, grand design, they'll expect that of you and they'll come to you for that. So as my business grew, what I wanted to do changed, and the work that I wanted to take on changed, and my capacity changed. And I started to go, I actually really want to do those juicier jobs.
Yeah.
And I also realized as we did a few bigger jobs, how much I love working as a team. And how I noticed that now with my team, which I know I'm chopping about a little bit here, but when they make something, I'm way more prouder of it than I am if I make it.
Oh my goodness. Me too.
So even though I know it's under my direction, even though I know that I've had a hand in it, I can look at them and go, girls, you did am I allowed to swear?
Job. Oh yeah, swear away.
Yeah, you did a really fucking good job today. And that looks really beautiful. And I don't think that I'm that kind to myself. Even when I know I'll be like, I'm happy with that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But I'm so much more proud of it when it's a team effort.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a really common thing that we don't feel pride for ourselves in the same way we do for others.
Yeah.
Even though we should.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm working on.
It's a very feminine trait as well, I think.
Yeah, my therapist is go at me about it. She's like, oh my God, Erin.
Haven't they all?
I'm in therapy. But it is. I really... It took me by surprise as well, that enjoyment of working in a team environment and having the ability to foster somebody else's growth and see the journey that they've come along, which I imagine you would see as well with your team.
Yeah, and I love that. So yeah, every time we did a big job, I was like, wow, I want more of this. Or every time we did a big installation, I was like, that was really fun. I'm also not a delicate human. Like I like to shove things. So I like big stuff. Yeah. And I have had to learn to pare it back and to bring it back to like small, delicate details. Smaller bouquets are on trend now, very like structured bouquets. And I usually just make really big, bold bouquets.
You're like, the small ones can be somebody else's job, and you get to do the big
I've started
ones.
to enjoy them now. I'm really enjoying it because we make them in a really fun way. But I think that has been a bit of a journey to be like, what work do I like working on? And that has continued to change, and the style has continued to evolve. And, we've drawn lines in the style guide in our minds of what we do and don't do. And that's changed over time. So it wasn't intentional to go after the luxury clients. I think I just kind of landed in that space. Not unintentionally, but it's like there were...
It wasn't there from the beginning.
It wasn't there from the beginning. It wasn't there from the beginning. I knew I wanted to create things that felt different, that didn't feel old-fashioned.
Yeah.
So I knew that, but that what I wanted to create just kept changing as I evolved.
Yeah, and I think that's important to allow yourself space for that as well, because if you just feel like you have to only be one thing, you stagnate, and that creative side just withers away, and you have to nourish it by stretching yourself in different directions. And even with the small structured bouquets that maybe you don't like, it does challenge your creativity to push yourself into those things that maybe are on trend that don't necessarily spark your joy to begin with. Yeah, but
all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I really love this. Yeah. Can we make more like this? And one of my staff was like, that's what I've been telling you. I'm like, okay, I'm listening.
Okay, fine.
It wasn't my idea. Thanks.
So you talked earlier about the pendulum swing going like super far into the creativity, and you're now kind of coming back to the middle. How do you find trying to balance your creativity with the actual admin side of running a business?
I don't find it to be an exact science.
Yes.
Is what I will say. There are some weeks for me that I am pretty full admin. And there are some weeks for me where I'm like, cool, you've got that handled. Can I go to the flower market and choose the flowers, please? Because that'd be really nice.
Yeah.
I think I've accepted that, especially this year, like in the last 6 months and in 2026, I'm in a different role than I've ever been in my business before. And there are many jobs that I don't touch. And that's still a little unsettling.
Yeah.
But I trust my team to do a beautiful job. I know that the detail, I need to be across that at this point. Like, that's a really important role that I need to play, is making sure that the detail is there, making sure that we have dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's of what we've promised to deliver. Like, that bit's really important, and the buck stops with me.
Yeah.
So it, like, everybody has, you know, a responsibility in the chain, absolutely, but that buck stops with me. If I'm not across it, how do I expect them to be across it? And so that bit, you know, making sure that they're equipped to do their jobs, making sure that they have the equipment they need to do their jobs, making sure that it will be created in the way that I would expect it to be done. You know, I need to be across that. But there are whole weeks that I have not been on the job. You know, there was a wedding just recently that I had a moment where I was like, I've not even gotten involved in this, because my wedding manager quoted it and did the proposal and worked with the client and did the floral order, and then they did the wedding because I was on something else. So I was like, wow, I've not even touched that. I didn't even see what the brief was. And I was like, oh, probably should know what we're going to deliver. They did an exceptional job. The girls did such a great job of it. But I think I've had to accept that the running of the business is my job. The bringing in of new clients is my job. And if we don't have that, then we don't have a business anymore.
Yeah.
So my focus is more on the revenue generating stuff in the business and finding new avenues to bring in income for us, and then getting my hands dirty where I can. So, you know, this week's wedding was beautiful, regardless of flower shortages because of everything happening in the Middle East. And I only made the bouquets. That's all I made out of the whole wedding, was the bouquets. I quality controlled. I knew exactly what was going on. I was on the wedding on the day. Oh no, I lie. I did get to make one other piece, which was fun. But the staff did everything else. And I have to accept that, you know, there is possibly less of me flowering and more of me running business. And so I do feel like I've swung back into a different spot. But I still get to have the direction and the expression.
And so I guess the creativity gets to come in different ways now. So it's not just necessarily with having the hands on the florals itself, but it's also and I think people forget that creativity is not just painting or
it's not just malleable.
No, it is a thought process. And it's about, you know, thinking about things in a different way. And so embracing that can sometimes be an uncomfortable thing as well. But it's an important one. Yeah,
for sure. I get excited at the moment about like a new marketing strategy, or like what we're going to do to, you know, push the new shop, or like that stuff I'll get, or like bringing in new products to see like how the shop is going to be laid out, like what's going to sell, what's not going to sell, like what will our clients like to see, like those things I get excited about. I'm about to go to Melbourne Flower Show at the end of this month to exhibit for the first time, which I'm really excited about.
That sounds amazing.
So I'm like, that will be a project I get to do as well. So for me, it's like I find creativity in lots of ways.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And do you find that you need to seek creativity outside of your business as well?
I love to. I do love to. I am not making time for that at the moment.
Yeah.
Like I am not, that's not on a priority list at the moment.
There are times in life where it can't be.
Yeah. It's just not. I do find like I need fresh air, and I need to be like out in nature, and I do a lot of walking at the moment, and that like unplugged kind of, I need that a lot, disconnecting, you know, quiet thinking space. So that I prioritize a lot. I try to get to a couple of workshops every year, like whether it's painting or pottery or something, just to flex that muscle a little bit. But no, I'm not prioritizing it at the moment.
That's all right. It'll come
It will.
when you have time.
It will.
Maybe when the kids are older.
Maybe when the kids are older.
I can tell you now that my kids are in high school, I do have more free time.
Yeah, I do hope that will happen. Mine are still little. They're like
Yeah.
6 and 3.5. So yeah.
That's a full-on period of life.
They're needy little beautiful humans.
My kids are needy. It's just they're more independent with their neediness.
Yeah, it's a different need though,
a
right? I've
different-
heard this.
Oh, yeah, very much so. But I mean, the
Yeah.
weekend we just had was very, very busy with children. But there are periods where my kid will just be like, I'm going to go for a bike ride with a friend, and I'll won't see him for a couple of hours, and then I can play.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I look
or do
forward to
laundry,
those
you know,
moments.
whatever,
Whatever you're prioritizing
Whatever,
that
right.
day.
Sometimes the laundry does get neglected.
Ah, that's okay.
That's okay.
Same. I feel like my dining room table is just constantly laundry.
Yeah. Ours is a couch. There is a couch.
A laundry couch.
Yeah. It's the laundry couch. It gets called Mount Washmore.
Yeah. Well, Washmore. But you know, I do feel like I'm like, do you know what? Folding that washing doesn't make me money.
Mm-mm.
So I would rather do something that does.
Yeah. I would rather play in the mud. Play in the mud. Take the dog to the park, play in the mud, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
The clothes are clean. You can put things on from the pile. It's fine. But you've talked a little bit about your team now, and obviously when you first started out, it was just you.
It was just me.
So when did you start growing and taking on team members, and how many people are part of the team now?
So I brought on my first actual assistant, like paid on the books in 2021. In 2021. Before that, I'd had a couple of freelancers here and there. And, you know, my husband was, you know, signing up for a job that he never knew that existed for quite some time. Now he doesn't have to do that, which is great. So it was family members and friends before that would like pitch in where I needed somebody. 2021, I got my first assistant, and that was somebody who came in on a Wednesday just to prep flowers. And then she would organize them all so that I could just grab the bucket and make the thing on the next day. And that was great. Now, so that's 2021, we're in 2026 now. So 5 years on, we have 7 staff, including me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 7 including me.
Yeah.
So we have 3 down south and 3 up here and me. And that is about to expand again. We've got to get at least another 1 or 2 casuals on because we're about to open another shop up here.
So exciting.
Yeah. So now the roles that are varied. So we have a couple of floral assistants. We have, you know, some people that are in just 1 day a week, or 2 days a week. Some people that are in full time. Some that are in 3 or 4 days a week. And then, you know, me, business owner, 75 hours a week, whatever. Sometimes 20.
All day, every
sometimes
day.
70. I'm very tired all of the time.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a diverse team at the moment, but like we've got a manager in the store down south and a manager, like a wedding manager up here, wedding and event manager. And that's taken a lot of pressure off me. And I know that those 2 people, you know, pretty well have their jobs. There's things that every now and again I have to be like, oh, you've got to make sure you've got this, or maybe we can change this process in this way. But they're great florists and really good operators, so they take a lot of pressure off me. And then I've got somebody that does our social media, or most of our social media as well, so that sort of takes a bit of that off me. I don't have to think about like, what are we posting today. That
was the first thing I got rid of.
Yeah because I love social media. I love making content, but the pressure of what are we posting today, and of having to have a certain amount every week to keep that momentum rolling got a bit much. And it needed fresh eyes as well. Like I'm getting older. I'm like not as connected to my ideal client anymore, so need a little bit of energy on that.
Get somebody in who's got a fresh set of eyes from a different generation. This is where our interns have been handy as well. We're like, we need ideas. Not that we don't have our own ideas, but they don't always appeal to the people we're trying to reach. And getting fresh eyes is really important. So with that growing team, how do you find you continue to manage the quality? So obviously, you, as much as possible, you do try and keep your eyes across things, but the reality is you can't have eyes on everything. But how have you found trying to manage that?
I have found it a little bit tricky at times, but I think the people that I employ generally know what they're doing, are generally open to, you know, receiving feedback as well. So I guess they know that, like, sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong, and I know that too. And as long as we have like mutual respect for each other and mutual respect for what we're trying to create, that seems to work quite well. Most of the time they know what they're doing, or they'll ask me if they don't.
Yeah.
And I think that helps. But the team all know like what the Maple and Wren style is and what it should look like. We have really detailed briefs that always have like a couple of mood boards. So our personal flowers has a mood board, our ceremony flowers has a mood board, our reception flowers has a mood board. If it's like a large scale event, we'll have different items in there representing what we want to create. Sometimes we'll mock it up in Canva as well to be like, this is how we kind of want this to sit. There's usually some description of what kind of flowers we want to use when we're making that initial proposal for a client, so that at least then when it comes to ordering, we're like, cool, we want to use roses and orchids and anthuriums and lisianthus and whatever, so that bit makes it easier. But I generally try to keep my eye across as much as I can, even if it's just at that high level skim. But I have a lot of trust in my team. I've trained most of them myself and gone through that process with them. Like, we really want it to look more like this. How do you feel about changing how that looks? So taking on the shop down south, because we bought Zest Flowers at the end of last year in Dunsborough, and that was an established brand, and they had a style and a way and a recipe of doing things. And I wanted to change that a little bit because I wanted to bring it a little bit more in line with the Maple and Wren style. And the girls down there were really open to that, which was great. But they, you know, did have a certain way of doing it. And once we sort of showed them what I'd like it to look like, they've made such beautiful work, you know. And I love that each person still has their own creativity, but it can sit within the brand. So I think that comes down to floral choices and composition and people feeling equipped to create the item. And then they stay off the things that they don't feel confident in. So I like, for instance, I noticed like one of my staff members steers clear of our wedding bouquets. And I'm like, right, we're going to have to work on that with her so that she does build that confidence. But, you know, in the moments when it's got to be done now, I'm like, cool, I'll do that. Like that bit I can do. That's easy. That's easy for me. So, yeah, I think, watching everybody bring their creativity to it. For me, being open to evolving style as well, but making sure it still fits within the overall brand.
So it sounds like it comes down to a combination of like resources from you that you provide that they can refer to, as well as I guess that education and skill building that you impart as the owner of the business as well. But then that openness to feedback and fantastic.
For instance, our wedding manager has very different ways of doing things than I do. Neither of them are wrong. Like, neither of us are wrong. But I at certain times I go, do I care about this? Like, does this matter? Or is it just how I do it? So that's how I want it done. And that's been a really interesting
and it's about
thing.
As the owner of a business, I think learning to let go of those little things and pausing and asking yourself, does it matter or not? And I think a really great example of that is, you know, when we've hired somebody, particularly because typically when we're hiring, it's, you know, it's for like an admin role in the office, right? And I go, this is the way that we currently do things. That doesn't mean it's the best way to do things. It doesn't mean it's the right way to do things. Often when we were first starting to hire, it was just because that is the way that I did things in the moment where I didn't have time. So it's definitely not the most efficient way to do things, probably. So but having a team that feels comfortable enough to bring things to you and have ideas of their own. And I think that's a really important skill that you have to foster.
Or, you know, if they think that something should be done a different way, then being able to back themselves on why as well. I'm like, if you can come to me with a good enough reason as to why we should do it differently, cool. Or if you're the one doing it and I'm not the one doing it, and the process that we have now doesn't work for you, then I need to know whether it actually needs to change or whether you're just feeling uncomfortable with it. So that I think has been a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a journey, like everything in business.
So, you've obviously got, Maple and Wren, and now you've got the shop down south, and you're going to be expanding to another shop here in Perth. But we haven't talked about the Floral Art Academy yet.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm really, was really excited when I saw you launch that. So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to go down that route of educating others.
I feel like since I started my business, so for 10 years, I've been doing workshops. So once I learned how to do something, I kind of want to show other people how to do it.
Yeah.
But I'd always been running workshops. I remember running one for your girls, actually.
You sure did.
We
made Christmas wreaths. This still gets talked about.
Because it's a really fun day.
It stressed out my team because it was something that they were just like, why is this harder than I thought it was? Like,
it was hard.
Because we are all creative people, and we came into it thinking, oh yeah, we're going to be great at this. But it was a new skill set. We didn't know.
Skill set, yeah. And sucking at something's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, sucking at something really,
it was a bit of an eye-opening moment for a bunch of us, I think.
So I'd always done workshops. I pitched some myself at first and run flower crown workshops or little vase arrangements. I worked for House of Hobby for ages doing workshops for them, running their floral workshops. I still do that occasionally, which I love. And it got to a point where I was like, I love doing these workshops. I love being in front of a crowd. To be fair, I've always been a performer. So I love being in front of a crowd, and I love showing people that it's not rocket science. It is art, but it's not rocket science, and you can do it. And I also love, like what you've just shared there, the unlocking of the blockage in creativity. I find absolutely fascinating. So, and I see it drop in for people every now and again, that moment when they've gone, oh, okay, I've got this now.
Yeah.
Or you can see that they're struggling with something that's got nothing to do with the flowers.
No.
And you're just waiting for them to let go of it, you know? So I love that about workshops. I find it so cathartic and therapeutic. And, most of the people that come to my workshops are, women or female presenting. And I think that feminine energy can be really beautiful and supportive and nurturing. So I've always loved doing workshops. And it came to a point where I felt like what I was creating in workshops wasn't representative of our brand. And I thought, we've stepped into this luxury space. We've stepped into creating, rose heavy designs, for instance, or working with really expensive product. And it just wasn't the product that you could put into a vase arrangement workshop where your product cap was $30, you know? And so I went, what if I did this on my own? What if I did this in a way of what we're creating is what I create every week on a wedding? Like, what if I showed people how to do that? Because, and at the time, so it was 2021, I think I ran my first course in the warehouse that I was working in. And then I was like, right, this is two different audiences. The people that are on the Maple and Wren page are not the people who want to learn floristry design.
Yeah.
They might be there and be fascinated by it and want to come to a workshop occasionally. But what I want to teach people is what I couldn't find when I first started.
Yeah.
That like modern floral design, on-trend techniques. Not that there's anything wrong with the floristry course at TAFE, because it's wonderful for the skill set, but they have to teach a training package, right? And that was written how many centuries ago?
Yeah. And
right? Training packages are hard to change.
Yeah, and it's limited.
Yeah. And I remember looking at that years ago, thinking that that's what I had to do to be a florist. And I was like, but I don't want, at the time, this is so funny, 10 years on, I didn't want to work in a shop. I didn't want to be a shop florist. I wanted to do weddings and events.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find anything that was just specifically that would give me the skill set to go and just do that. Because I didn't want to stand in a shop and sweep floors and have to learn how to wrap bouquets.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I learned how to wrap a bouquet about a month ago. Because I never had to.
And now you know.
And now I know, and now I can. And it looked lovely.
Did
But
it spark joy?
I was excited that I could do it. Let's call it that.
Okay, well.
I was like, yes, can do. Yes, will buy. There you go. So, I wanted to learn the things I wanted to learn, and I wanted to use really nice product. I didn't want to just use sorry, I'm going to say it. Often a lot of workshops are cheap fillers, right? Because you're practicing the skill. It's not about the flower.
Yeah.
But I think that when you start with beautiful product, you can make something so much more beautiful to start with. And so I do think it is so much about the ingredients that you're using, not just the technique of what you're trying to create.
Yeah, and it makes you think about things in a different way if you're using different materials as well. Like you might inspire something, or you might learn a different skill if you're working with different material.
Yeah. So I started the Floral Art Academy to show people how to do on-trend, current wedding design, essentially. And it's evolved over the last couple of years. But that's where it started. Like, let's work on something that someone will actually pay you to do in this sphere, and that people are asking us for every single week. So that's where it all started.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And now that you're, 5 years on, are you still the one running all of the courses?
Yes. Yeah. So that's still very much me. We now do, me and all my personalities now do a lot of like one-on-one training, which I love. So people will come into the studio and it'll be just me and them working on bouquet design, or working on ceremony structures, or working on tablescapes or whatever. So we'll do that just one-on-one. I got flown up to Broome a couple of years ago to work with the girls up there in one of the florists there to up their wedding game, essentially, because they knew how to do retail bunches, but they didn't know how to do weddings, and they wanted that training. That was amazing. So stuff like that I love to do. I now do a lot of mentoring as well on the business side of it, to, I suppose, show people how to make it profitable.
Yeah.
And to make sure that their systems and processes are in place so that they don't burn out every single December at the end of wedding season. And to make sure that their bases are covered as well, because, I don't know, I'm speaking for every creative out there, we've all been surprised by a tax bill at one point or another.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I continue to get surprised by how high my tax bills
are. I got sent one and I went, I feel like that can't be right. And then I've gone looking at the numbers and I was like, oh, maybe it is right.
Maybe it's right. Maybe my accountant knows what she's doing.
It's a lot of the things that, and it's one of those, you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
And until it comes across your desk or your palette or, whatever it might be that you're doing, until that moment comes, you don't know.
Yeah.
And having the ability to have somebody in your corner who does know, so valuable.
Yeah, can at least prepare you for what's coming. So, yeah, I do a lot of that now, which I love as well. I do find, in terms of like what sparks joy, when I see what my clients are creating, or, I got a message from one of our Blueprint members the other day, and she's like, Elle, do you remember when I celebrated buying my first flower fridge? And I was like, yeah. She's like, just bought another one, and sent me a picture of her with her second flower fridge. And I was like, yes, love, because I knew that she wasn't making that decision until she'd earned a certain amount as well. And
you get to see that growth.
So you get to see that growth, and, that whole rising tide lifts all boats. Just every time lights me up. So that space I love working in. So Academy has kind of evolved over the years, and the floral design is there, group workshops are there. We run a beautiful retreat every year, and really get stuck into unlocking that thing inside you that's blocking you from doing what you really want to be doing, I suppose, and creating beautiful work. And then I get to support people in the business aspect of it as well. So yeah, it's a fun time.
That's really amazing.
I love it.
I'm really happy for you.
Thanks,
That's so great.
I'm in a good phase.
Yeah. Well, how do you balance is a thing that I struggle with personally, and I think a lot of people, both in creative industry as well as in small business, and then particularly as a creative small business, balance is a thing that I find is really tricky, and it changes and evolves over time. And then you've got so many different aspects that you're trying to manage at the moment. You know, obviously you're a person, and you have to fulfill yourself as an individual human being, and you're a spouse, and you've got to do that, and you've got your kids, and so you're a mum, and then you're running the business, which is, it's grown so much. You now have the shop, and you do the events, and you have the academy, and you're expanding. So what does balance look like for you at the moment? Like how do you manage to not burn out all the time? Obviously you've got your team, but is there, I mean, share your secrets if you have any. I'd love to know what they are.
I don't know if I've got any secrets, to be honest. I think there's a level of what I want to say, looking out at that beautiful tree out your window here, is that there's a level of self-acceptance that it's not always going to look perfect, and I'm not always going to achieve the level of balance that I want to achieve, and trying to find the pockets in my week that are for me and the pockets in my week that are for my kids, and then where I need to be working. So I have found, like, I had this really hard boundary for a while where I had enough time to get everything done during the workday. So I wasn't working in the evenings. So I could chill, watch TV, hang out with my kids, you know, whatever. Have 3 glasses of wine if I wanted, didn't matter. And at this phase right now, like over the last 6 months, there's a lot of night work for me. And that's still, you know, 10 or 11 o'clock. It's not crazy, but I've found that the quiet time in the evening is a space where I get a lot done.
Yeah.
And I'm able to kind of put my procrastination aside of all the busyness of the day and just look at that, because no one else needs me in that moment. So my expectation of myself and where I can work and when I can work is different now. So there's that. I have gotten, so my husband and I have been doing 75 hard at the beginning of this year, which is that like 75-day personal challenge where you've got to like do 2 fucking workouts a day, which is really grating on me at this point. I've got like 12 days left or something.
Not that you're counting
Not that I'm counting down the actual minutes, but you've got to do 2 workouts a day. One of them has to be outside. You've got to read 10 pages of a self-development book or a non-fiction book. You have to stick to a diet, and there's something else. No alcohol, I think is the other. Yeah, no alcohol. So I think that's what's on the list. Now, the reason that I'm mentioning this is not to be a complete wanker, but you asked what is the secret, and over the last couple of months, I have been so glad that I'm not drinking, because the amount of work that is on and the amount of things that need my brain power couldn't cope with the fact that I love a glass of wine.
Yeah.
And so I'm really glad I've not been drinking. I don't get enough sleep, so that is what that is. But I still try to get to bed by 10:30. And I'm up at about 5:30 every day at the moment, which is not my favorite thing in the land, but I'm doing it anyway.
But you're doing it.
But I'm doing it anyway. And going for a walk almost every morning has at least given me some like get up and go and a little breather from surviving morning. I don't know what that's like in your house, but surviving morning in my house is kind of fucked.
Mine is, my kids are so independent now that my youngest left the house today without telling us.
Oh.
He got up, he got dressed, he had breakfast, he made his lunch, and he left.
Oh.
I called him and went, you can't leave without talking to us.
Yeah.
But I've reached a point. I didn't love that.
Yeah.
But I do love that he's independent.
He's independent.
And he's organised.
And he did all the things.
And he's done all the things. And that's come from us teaching him the skills to do all those things. So, like, in that moment of where the hell is my kid? I went, he's not in his room, he's not in the bathroom, he's not he has to have left and gone to school. I can't see school back. And I was like, in the moment, I was so mad, but then I also went, but I can choose to be proud of him instead. So that moment will come.
That moment will come.
And
I won't have to survive the morning.
You won't have to survive the morning. And so my mornings have become my quiet reflection over a cup of coffee mostly, which is
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my therapist is currently trying to get me to just sit with my coffee without distracting myself with a book or something else and just be in the moment. So, because I don't like that. I don't like being in the moment in my head. My head is an uncomfortable place a lot of the time because it turns out I'm nuts.
Aren't we all?
Yes. But when I have my nice, beautiful handmade mug with my coffee that I've made myself, and so
it's intention.
It is intention. So I don't do that I don't do that any other time of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take that moment.
I take a moment in the morning.
Yeah. I think so which is
it sounds like it's your walk for you.
It's my walk. Yeah. Having that time in the morning to just have to myself and to move my body and then be like, okay, what do I actually need to do today? Like, have I looked at my calendar? Like, what actually is happening? I think that has really helped. And I think you just have to find what works for you because everybody's schedule is different. And yeah, it does feel really hectic a lot of the time. Yes, I've had to accept that at the moment we're in a bit of a build phase. And I know that this feeling and this level of demand on me is not forever, but it is right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm like blocking out certain times that I'm like, this moment, like Friday nights, you will not get me to do anything else. It's family movie night with my kids.
Yeah.
I'm not working. I'm not going anywhere. That is what I look forward to and my kids look forward to every week. And it's a constant. Like we know that that's going to happen. So that's where you'll find me on a Friday night. And so it's moments like that. And then knowing like that I don't have to be on every job and accepting that I don't have to be on every job, but where my energy needs to be is here.
Yeah.
I don't always get it right. You know, I had to pretty much drop the Zest business the other day or the other week and just know that the staff would get on with it because the Perth team needed me more. And I knew that they would get on with it and I knew that everyone would survive and it would be okay. And I could ask for forgiveness instead of apologizing.
Yeah.
And so I don't have any secrets. I think you just need to find what works for you. I think coming to things with a clear head is helpful in whatever that looks like for you, whether that's checking your calendar the night before you go to bed or planning out your week on a Sunday, which I'm never very good at. I'm always surprised by things in my calendar, even though they're right there in my phone. You know, what I have been doing is changing my to-do list to an actual calendar. So instead of just writing the 17 things that I want to do that day, which is my instinct to do, like, yeah, I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or I'll make a list for the next 2 days and it'll have like 50 things on it.
And of course you can't get 50 things.
Of course you can't do 50 things. No. So instead of doing that, I've been like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do the proposal for Kate and Tim. And I will put Kate and Tim's proposal in my calendar as a block. And I'm like, cool, that's an hour. And then I'm looking at it like the school day is not as long as we think it is.
No, I really wish it was slightly longer.
Don't we? So I've been going through and like blocking it out and being like, what can I actually get done? You know, like I had this in my calendar and I blocked out an extra couple of hours knowing like like getting back and forward from where I am, that you and I will probably chat, like those things. And I was like, no, that's it. I've done what I've done this morning and I can't get anything else done today until I get the kids from school. So knowing those things and then accepting that I have to focus on the things that need me right now.
Yeah.
And then other things will have to wait or sit on a priority list for somebody else to look at.
Yeah. And I think that's a really valuable lesson is like what needs you, like actually you and your skills and your knowledge versus somebody else in the team.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a really common thing that we feel like it always needs to be us, but it doesn't. It doesn't always need to be us. It can be somebody else.
Yeah. And then what needs to be put down as well.
Yeah.
So I think every week I think to myself, what do I need to put down this week? Like what can't happen? Like be realistic, what can't happen? I've noticed like I love podcasting. I've got a little podcast that I adore doing that has gone to the bottom of the list. I'm upset about it, but it can't be the priority right this second. So when I can do it, I do it. And when I can't do it, I can't do it. And I have to accept that if something's going to slip, you know, somebody said to me years ago about the glass balls and the plastic balls. Like if you're juggling balls, if you drop a glass one, it's going to smash. But if you drop a plastic one, it'll bounce and you can probably catch it later.
Yeah.
And so knowing that, like what can I put down this week? I have been known to just cancel everything in my calendar as well and go, not this week.
Yeah.
Like, we need to actually take a few things off the list. So I will, I will cancel meetings if I know that we don't have the capacity to handle them, or if I thought a staff member was going to do it and then they're going to be away and it's going to be me that needs to do it. I know that my time actually needs to be on something else. Like, so I will go through and be like, can I do that this week? Even though I committed to it, can I do it or can't I?
Yeah.
And what we can't change is the jobs that we've committed to.
Yeah.
That has to get done. So yeah, what can you put down?
And I think somebody once said to me about, the never-ending to-do list.
Never.
We can always have a never-ending to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a to-do list and it's a daily to-do list, and then you take all of those items and you put them on the next day's to-do list, what continues to go from one day to the next? And if you get to the end of 3 weeks and it still hasn't been done, does it actually need to be done?
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you just think it needs to be done, but it doesn't. And if it doesn't get done, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know mid-year we'll have like next to no weddings and events, and I'll have time to do other stuff then.
Yeah,
My linen cupboard will get sorted then.
We do stock take mid-year. We don't have time to do it during the summer. That's event season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There are things that they just have to wait sometimes.
They just have to wait.
That is fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we've talked about a lot of different things. we've talked a lot about some really valuable things, and now I think it's time for a little bit of fun.
Okay.
So it's time for our quick fire round. So
Yay!
quick sharp answers.
Okay, I'll try my best.
Do you have a favourite flower?
Yes, Cymbidium orchids.
Oh, neutral palette or bold colour explosion?
Bold colour explosion every time.
What do you think is the most underrated flower?
So I think carnations are really underrated. I think they've got such a bad rap.
I know. Okay, I'm glad that I'm not alone
They've
in
got
this feeling.
such a bad rap as a filler flower, and they're fluffy and ruffly and pretty, and they come in so many different colours, and you can pull the centres out of them and make them look like daisies. So underrated.
Awesome. Wedding or corporate event?
Oh, I had to think about that one. Wedding.
Do you have a go-to coffee order on install day?
Yes. Generally an almond skinny cap, or an almond or a skinny cap. Yeah.
And if Maple and Wren had a soundtrack, what would the vibe be?
Oh, that's weird because it's not me. I went to go with me. If Maple and Wren had a soundtrack, what would it be? It would probably be very Olivia Dean at the moment.
Yeah. And what would yours be then?
Mine is always something a little bit more quirky. Like I love like Freedom by George Michael and stuff like pump up songs, I suppose. Yeah, I will always gravitate towards stuff like that.
Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your very hectic and busy life to come and chat with us and share your insights and knowledge with our community.
Anytime.
I had such a delight talking with you. And each episode we do like to give a shout out to another creative business in our creative business spotlight. So who would be a creative business that you think people should go check out?
This week I am going to share with you a beautiful human, Chrissy from The Dainty Co. So The Dainty Co. Do pressed flower artwork. So they take she does it and her team do it for lots of different things, but they take bouquets and preserve the flowers and press them and turn it into artwork. And she is currently renting the space that we're going to move into. So there's this beautiful, I guess, crossover of us at the moment, which I'm adoring, but her work is just beautiful, and she always cares so much about her clients. Like, she'll go and get the get fresh flowers to use if the bouquets just are wilting or whatever after a wedding, as they often are, so that she can recreate what the couple are after. But I love seeing what people do with flowers after the purpose, and her work's really beautiful. So definitely go and check out The Dainty Co.
Amazing. We'll include some links in the show notes. And if people want to come and find you, where can they do that? How can they find Maple and Wren and Zest and the Floral Art Academy?
Well, the best place to find us is on Instagram. That's usually where I'm hanging out. So you'll find me there and probably chat to me in the DMs. You can find Maple and Wren, you can find Maple and Wren Floral Art Academy, and you can find Zest Flowers there. You can definitely go to our store in Dunsborough, to the Zest floor, and visit the girls down there. They have a beautiful energy down there. And from the 1st of April, you'll find us on Beaufort Street in Inglewood. So you'll be able to come and buy fresh flowers there.
Amazing. Oh, well, thank you so much. As I mentioned, I had a delight chatting with you and sharing a bit about your story and your background with our audience. And we'll catch everyone next time.
Thanks, Erin.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Creative Business Community Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and join our community online. Until next time, keep creating, keep learning, and keep building that business you love.